Welcome back to the Convo Couch, everyone. Pasta Jardula here.
And I'm Fiorella.
And Johnny Sue spinning on the ones and twos. Fam. Okay, so. I mean, it's like, it's crazy. We're coming to the end of this whole journey, this whole craziness, but just life-changing experiences, this great work that we've been able to get involved with, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but just having the opportunity to be here with these people, with these delegates, in these countries, with these campaign workers, with everything that we've got to experience, fam. It's almost coming to an end, and I feel like singing a Frank Sinatra song.
Please don't.
I won't. I'll save it for karaoke.
Please do. Yes, we'll do a video of Pasta singing karaoke as like a Rokfin premium or something. Yeah. And he's not as good as Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is a little bit better with the Quando.
Jesus. Don't start with the Quando.
But anyway, so yes, he's right. This is coming to an end, this trip. And honestly, I don't know if I want it to end. Like, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy traveling. I do. But at the same time, I do miss our studio. And I miss, the consistency of our shows and the time. We're obviously going late today. So apologies to that. I know Hard Lens is on. I know some other people are going to be on, but this is important what we're really doing here, and our schedule has been off because we've been going all over the place. I had an interview earlier. We had a press conference. We organized a press conference. We really did, and it was like in less than 24 hours, and people showed up, and that was exciting. And we talked in Spanish and in English, and the media from this country, from Honduras, came and. So, I mean, I think that's important, and that's really, the groundwork that we're doing is really important. We're going to be expanding, and I think that the things we're doing, in spite of the money, in spite of how YouTube censors us and all the views and stuff like that, I think it's important to do.
So like, share, subscribe. It's the most important thing to do. Yes, we did organize the press conference. There was no press conference organized for us, so we said, hey, let's just do it ourselves. And we all got to work. We all took jobs. Everything from one person making a press release and Johnny fixing it up, Johnny sharing it, you getting in there, sharing it, going down, talking to the Hyatt, the people in the Hyatt, letting them, hey, listen, really help us out here. We can't afford to pay the room. They made, consensus for us so we can get in there. And it was really a great moment when you turn around and you saw about 11 press outlets out there as you guys were going. Now, some of them left, but then some new people came in, and at the end, we also got questions. Big up to my fam over here for translating for me, so I can, I told a cool joke.
Yeah,
it was fun. We just had a great time today. It was an awesome press conference. Johnny was able to close it out on the panel, said some great stuff, did it in English, did it in Spanish. It was just a great experience, and the fact that we put it together in such a short amount of time and it had some impact. I really wish I knew what channels they were. We didn't write down what channels were there. That was the only thing we didn't do, was like sign into what news outlet you are. It was like the one thing we missed. But it was a great time. And obviously, I went off with the Libre campaign for lunch while you did the interview on RT. Let me say this much, guys. It's been a great experience with great opportunities. I can't thank you enough for helping us. And it has been amazing, but it is hard work. There are days we don't get a lot of sleep. No. The sleep is way off the chart over here. We just get in the car and go running around town with these people. So even though it's an amazing experience, I am like kind of still loopy right now. The sleep schedule is way off. Yeah.
And we have to leave like by 5 a.m.
tomorrow morning. So. We just found that out today. Now we're like, really?
Yeah. So
but we got to do what we got to do, right?
We do. Yeah. And so we'll just get right to the show as more people are coming in.
I got to point out Trey Wright, though.
Yes.
Can I point out Trey Wright, fam?
Yes.
We love Trey Wright. Trey, we love you.
We do
love you all. You all continue to amaze me with your great journalism. Keep it up, fam. You are just amazing.
And shout out to Roar Media, our fams, Oz, Shanda, the Natural Progressive, everybody there, Amber. And
Shanda was wearing her shirt yesterday.
Who?
Shanda was wearing
her shirt.
She was wearing the white, she cut it, the Convo Couch shirt. She was pimping it last night.
Also, shout out to Wyatt Reed from Sputnik and Press TV, who also helped organize this event as well. So, okay, let's get to it. We do have a lot of things to talk about. So let's start with Honduras. Let's start with Honduras. And
we're going to go over the state of what's going on right now. I just wanted to sneak in one quick tweet because we didn't get to cover it in the last show. The one thing that I thought was one of the most amazing things about this election was the tabulation part, the counting part.
Right.
Being able to witness it in person and just seeing this whole transition unfold. It does make me sad because America doesn't do this shit.
Yeah.
We take our ballots off. Somebody takes them out of the room, drives them without any chain of custody, puts them into another location, puts them into a machine with secret software, and whatever they tell us is what. We don't get to witness the whole process. In Honduras, we got to witness this the other day. The emotion, the passion, everything. Let's take a quick look at this video. It's just great.
Blanco. En blanco, en blanco. En blanco. Blanco, en blanco.
Ya estuvo, pues, ya. El otro, el otro.
Siga, siga.
Vaya, vamos a ver.
Puta. En blanco. Amarillo, ¿no? En blanco. Nulo, bórrelo. Nulo. Ey, póngase tira ahí. Ey, vaya al banda supro.
¿Cuánto costaza? La bolsa solidaria.
¿No ha comido?
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. You can cut it.
Tenga un ratito ahí, madre. Sí, para hacer la toma. Sí. Téngale unos 3 segundos. 3 segundos. Muéstralo.
All right, fam. I mean, these people have been there all day. They can obviously make mistakes, but you saw when they made a mistake once, the people started yelling, and she's like, "Oh!" She turns around, she's like, "Right, this is a null one." They took it off the board. You saw the passion and the love, them screaming, whatnot, and when when Tito got the vote, you know, it was so amazing, and it's something amazing to watch. But you know what really pisses me off is that the progressives have allowed themselves to not get themselves a process like this. Yeah. This is normal. This is democracy. This is transparency. Yeah. So the fact that we just walk away from this and we accept a proprietary software counting our votes because we don't have enough people to do it, fam. We don't have the resources.
No, right. And guys, like, they're implementing fingerprinting because of security, because dead people voted. Like, and that's not necessarily a problem of dead people voting in America, not in huge terms. It's more of the mail-in ballots and other ways that happen. But the point is, like, if we were to sort of push any sort of implementation of these procedures, it's displayed as a right-wing rhetoric when it's obviously not. I mean, the Democratic Socialist government or party just won in in this country, and that's what they're describing themselves as right now. Xiomara, that was her campaign, and el socialismo democrático. So how are you going to tell me that that this country is like, I mean, and the neoliberal government was actually the one that introduced the biometric Smartmatic system. So it's kind of like, well, what, I mean, I don't even think we need that per se.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. But at the same time, it's like, in spite of all these difficulties that we went over, they have a far more transparent system than we ever have. How cool would it be to have that, right? And it's obviously that's what we're talking about.
But it's a reason why they can win, fam. It's a reason why they can come to power. And it's a reason why in America, no grassroots progressive ever makes it to the fucking top. It's because we have systems in play that allow the establishment to cheat on their elections. So don't sit there and tell me it wasn't fair, it was fair, whatnot. No, it's not. Look at the system we have compared to what they have. Amazing. That's all I got to say.
So let's just go through the list here. We have videos from that night after the preliminary results were announced, and Xiomara, of course, was in the lead. She still remains in the lead. Let's watch. So
it was amazing.
Yeah, so they're saying they're going out. They're leaving. They're going out. They're leaving. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah. J-O-H. Juan Orlando Hernandez.
Yeah. So both parties actually declared themselves the winner, but Xiomara was the one that was actually 20 points ahead. I don't know why the National Party declared themselves the winner even before any results came out.
Criminal.
So that was weird. But after the preliminary results came out, Xiomara party, the Libre Party, declared themselves the winner. And according to them, they have they're so resolute in this. She's the president-elect. Honduras' first female president-elect. That's what it would be. And the fact is the United States hasn't even achieved that.
Yeah.
And, of course, with a more progressive government that the United States has, period. If she, of course, she should. I mean, it's statistically, 20 points, it's statistically impossible for the other party to reach that. So the only way this would be overturned would be completely undemocratic. So there were more people celebrating this win, and I just wanted to play this clip because it has the song Se Van by Johnny Ventura. He's like a Dominican singer, and it's just very catchy.
Yeah.
And we were
singing it all night.
we weren't supposed to, but we were like...
It's too good of a song, yeah.
So Johnny also put this in. He said, as more results are coming in, maintaining Xiomara Castro's lead, that people are celebrating in the streets. Si se pudo, se van. So
Yeah.
they came up to our bust and like started like
Yeah.
shaking it. It was pretty cool. Yeah, so it's pretty cool that people's enthusiasm, people's passion for this. I mean, it's crazy. It's people were sick and tired of this government. Like even I asked like random, Uber drivers, like they're like, yeah, nobody likes the current government. Like nobody likes them. Even people who weren't crazy about the Zelayas did not like the current government. So and they made, of course, alliances with the liberals and other people that weren't as left. In order to do this, to come together, because again, the main point is they didn't see this as a political election, that they saw this as getting rid of the totalitarian government first and foremost. And then, of course, now they're going to see what happens after that. But the first thing was to get rid of this government. And then we have just a map of just how popular Zelaya, Xiomara Castro de Zelaya was. And you guys can see in red, that's the votes for Xiomara. You also have some votes for the other candidates, and then in blue is
Partido Nacional.
the national.
Yeah.
So,
The thing that was amazing about this particular election, ladies and gentlemen, is that the National Party's power was supposed to be in the capital. Well, Xiomara took the capital as far as the votes that we've gotten and what we've heard so far, and that was something that was supposed to be highly unlikely. But the fact that she's went to Gusagapa, that is pretty friggin' amazing. You
Yeah.
can tell that most people in the country were done. They were fed up. I was talking to the lady downstairs who works at the desk and stuff, and she wasn't a big Labour Party person, but she goes, we want the Labour Party because we're tired. We're fed up. We are done with this narco-traffica, friggin' party that's ruling this country where they've turned it into chaos. They're done. They're done. So I hope So I hope these results hold and the people of Honduras get what they deserve, because right now it's kind of evident with 20-point lead right now. The fact they haven't called this thing with 54% in right now, if it was a 4% lead, they'd be calling it America. With a 4% lead and 54% of the vote in, Texas goes to Joe Biden. We're going to call Texas for Joe Biden. I mean, that's what they would do right now. This is a 20-point lead. Like Fam said, mathematically impossible. So let's get done with this shit. Let's call this election and let's move on.
and just one of the last clips I wanted to play, just people celebrating. Even just yesterday, there was a caravans of people going through the Libre, near the Libre office, and also we got to talk to Zelaya, Manuel Zelaya, Mel again. He was just having conversations, bless you, with people, and he was just highlighting a couple other things. He said that he hopes to build coalitions in Central America, talked about how Central America used to be the Estados Unidos de Centroamérica, the United States of Central America, and how, they are going to start working together more, how he is, so far, he reiterated that the United States has not interfered, so they see that as a good thing. Let's remind everybody the United States backed this totalitarian regime for years, and they helped with the coup. So what we're saying is we're telling them be vigilant, respectfully be vigilant, but they're very optimistic for now as to what's happened so far.
Yeah.
So another thing, I wanted to highlight some of the world leaders who actually have congratulated the Labour Party and Xiomara. Nicolas Maduro said 12 years after the coup against brother Manuel Zelaya, the people of Morazan continue the path of hope, granting a historic victory to the president-elect Xiomara Castro. La Patria Grande celebrates the triumph of democracy and peace in Honduras. Congratulations. So there is Nicolas Maduro giving his blessing. And also Evo Morales, of course, he said, since the March for the Patria, together with thousands of brothers and sisters who've marched united out of love for Bolivia and its democracy, we salute the democratic triumph of Sister Xiomara Castro Zelaya, the first president of Honduras, women president of And the vote of the people is a victory over the Yankee coup. And again, I love Evo and his anti-imperialist rhetoric. He really doesn't hold back. And like I said, the Zelmaira's campaign and the Labour Party have been sort of, tepid. They didn't want anything to kind of get the West on them too much. But we'll see what happens now. We'll see what happens from here on out, right? And again, I just want to reiterate the 51.46% of the actas have been processed, equivalent to 1,861,322 votes that were processed. There was a 68.09 participation. It's gone up since then, I believe, almost 69%. And the Labour Party's Xiomara Castro leads with 53.61, which is about 54% of the vote, to the National Party's 33.87. More or less a 20-point lead. Again, guys, this is just, I mean, it's done.
Yeah. It should be over. They should be singing Goodnight Irene or Goodnight Joe, Juan Orlando Hernandez. But, the thing that's really great is that, obviously the National Party was in charge of these elections, right? They were the ruling class of this particular country. So a lot of the little intricacies, the little kind of hurdles they would put in, very similar to the stuff we saw in 2016. Like, you go to one area in East LA where the machines don't work, there's a long line, you don't want to, they're trying to suppress the vote, right? They understand which areas the Libre Party is going to have a lot of strengths in. Where you go to a little bit more fancy area, you get in and out, it's easy. The fact that a lot of Hondurans stayed in line, we caught one guy who was in line for 2 hours, this one area, that they were vigilant, that they made sure that their vote was counted. They were ready for this. And I just tip my hat off to the people of Honduras because they really did something special over the weekend.
Yeah, like if the turnout hadn't been as great, it would have, because there was fraud and there was suppression, and all of the international observers noticed that, and we all talked about it in the press conference, so you guys can check that out. But if the turnout hadn't been that great, then it would have affected them. But it was just too vast, the turnout, and normally that doesn't happen. So I
like to call it indirect election rigging, death by 1,000 cuts. Clog up the system, try to win it that way. But it was just way too much going on. And tip my hat off to the Libre Party, the workers, the young warriors of the Libre Party. They were ready. We were in the room with them. We were asking question after question after question. They understood the process. They weren't taking it lying down like the progressives, not mentioning any names. They prepared themselves. They got ready, and they succeeded so far, hopefully, in this election. Okay, so this is an interesting one, fam, too, as well. When we met Mel the first day, Manuel Zelaya, this was on Friday, we were able to get a couple questions. I asked him a question over here, and it was pretty much, what would happen if Xiomara Castro was victorious, but the West tried to remove her the same way they tried to remove you in 2009? Here's the clip.
Pero lo más seguro usted ha de pensar,
If Xiomara is victorious,
si Xiomara es victoriosa
and the West comes in to do what they did to you
y el occidente hace lo que le hicieron a usted
by removing you,
al sacarlo del poder,
what then?
¿qué va a pasar? That's a very pessimistic question there,
But a realistic one.
pero es realista. Look, the man who doesn't dream, he loses himself. The woman who doesn't have ideals, it's a vegetable. We have dreams. If we didn't have dreams, we couldn't be in politics. Politics is one of the activities. It's the most conflictive activity in the world, in life. So there's a lot of critics about politics because it's the only activity there we look all the virtues of human beings and the bad things of human beings. There's a German author, Sun Tzu, he used to talk about, but this German author talked about Clausewitz. He said that war is the continuation of politics, but with other type of weapons. Michael Foucault, another French philosopher, he said the contrary of that. He said that war is not the continuation of politics, politics is the continuation of war. So you, when you live on politics, you are constantly at war. But if you lose your dreams, you lose all type of possibility of transforming, of changing. Only religion can elevate you of other types of faith, but those are emotions and sentiments. But I invite you to have faith.
Yeah. So I mean, I thought your question was obviously, I mean, not. It was, it was realistic. I mean, this is the United States, and we know better than others people, and he should know better than anybody else because, the Biden administration, is a continuation of the Obama administration, and that's who did it to him. So, but they're very optimistic thus far. Nothing has happened. And he did answer that. And I like the whole, politics is a continuation of war, because it is. And I agree with that. It definitely is. We're still, every time you're talking about something political, you're talking about fighting against something. So it is, in essence.
War is a continuation of politics, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
That's it is. If the politics don't match up from
then it's war.
nation state to nation state, they result to war. But the fact that he said that you can never stop dreaming, that you always have to hope. Fam, from our perspective, I think what we witnessed in Nicaragua was Yankee go home. We're not playing ball anymore. Honduras is a little bit different situation. We'll see how things play out. You know what I'm saying?
We'll
Obviously, they know what's going on behind closed doors more than we do.
Right.
But, Joe Biden was one of the key reasons why Manuel Zelaya was removed in 2009. Right. So the fact that he is kind of like, we have this attitude of like, come on, guys. You can't trust it. You cannot trust these people. You know that. And
maybe they don't, and they're just simply not saying it. And I think that's also a potentially intelligent move that they might be playing. But I mean, on the next tweet, Jonathan, I took a picture with Manuel Zelaya, but before that, we spoke to him and people were asking questions, just having a conversation, a dialogue. And he reiterated that he wants to work with everybody. He wants to build alliances. They want to really have peace in the country. They don't want any sort of war, any sort of violence, because he really, really was adamant about nothing being violent. So was Xiomara in her speech that she gave. They don't want any sort of violence going on, and that's something that they really, really led with. So after 12 years, we hope for the best for the people of Honduras. And we also held a press conference, as we mentioned. There's a picture. Even more people showed up after that. And we had people, Terry Matson from Code Pink. We had Wyatt Reed from Sputnik Press TV. We had Eliana Jimenez, who is a part of the Workers' Party of Mexico. We had people from the European Left Party, Valentina Skyfar, and I forget his name, Hans
was there.
Hans, and Leo as well. So there was all these great panelists, and you guys can check that out. It was English and Spanish translated. Check
it out.
Check it out. So I just want to pretty much play this clip that I played on RT, or this interview that I did on RT, so you guys pretty much know what the situation is.
First, get us up to speed. Where do things stand now? Official winner bid us. First, get us up to speed. Where do things stand now in Honduras? Has an official winner been named?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. No, not an official winner has been named yet. However, Xiomara holds a 20-point lead that would be statistically impossible by now to reach. However, the CNE has yet to provide any further results besides the already nearly 54% that of the actas that have been processed, which are the vote tallies that have been processed.
Now, Castro's party, Libre, has almost, and I underscore almost, won the last couple of presidential elections there. Many international observers have called foul, saying that the votes have been rigged against them. Is there a fear that even if Castro actually wins, that they actually won't let her.
There is that fear among some of the international observers and some of the journalists that were here on the ground. However, the people have remained very resolved to saying this election has been called. Xiomara's party, the Libre Party, did early on claim that they have won, that they have the first female president. So they are holding down to this notion, and they don't think it's going to be overturned because this is a different sort of situation than it was in 2017. A lot of the people went out to vote, 69% turnout, which is far higher than anything we've seen in the United States, far higher than anything Honduras has seen since 1985. So there was a huge turnout. There are a lot of people that got involved in the elections. There were at least 600 international observers, as well as the national public being very vigilant about their elections. So although the fear is always there, people have continued celebrating in the streets, and there is a large discontent for the current regime, which the Honduran people here majorly refer to as a totalitarian government, saying that they weren't really having a political election as much as an election to save their lives from this tyrannical government.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of motivated voters there.
All right, fam.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was great. Did we want to? I think we can. Want to play a second one? Okay, let's play a second one. It made me laugh.
Went viral last week when your Twitter account was suspended before you actually got to cover the elections. Tell us what happened. Do you feel like they censored you?
So when I was just in Nicaragua covering their elections, several accounts got taken down that were reporting on Nicaragua on Twitter and on Facebook. And right before I had tweeted that we were going into Honduras to cover these elections, my account got taken down. The Twitter didn't tell me why. Usually they send you a message of some sort of violation. I have never had a violation before, and I never got some sort of explanation, just that it was down. And obviously I was trying to tell people we were going to go there. There weren't many independent journalists at all covering this election. And so they finally got back to me saying that it was a mistake, that I was found to be a spam account, and that's it. Sorry, it was a mistake. So
yeah, it sounds very common with a lot of journalists that have covered these international elections. And Castro's husband was actually the target of a U.S.-backed coup in Honduras back in 2009. What can we expect relations with the U.S. to be like if Castro does win?
So we spoke to Manuel Zelaya twice, actually. He's been very good about reaching out to the media and doing like the speaking on behalf of Xiomara, but he's very sure to let her govern. He did tell us that he feels the relationship with the United States has changed in a more positive way. The OAS was here. The OAS has thus far not interfered. He says, as far as right now, things seem okay. The U.S. doesn't seem to be involving itself, and they look forward to diplomatic relations, not just with the United States, but with every country, specifically in building coalitions with Central American countries, as well as Latin American countries. So they're very peaceful. They're not trying to really, have some sort of anti-Western rhetoric to them. They're really just fighting to really get this current regime out, and then have built coalitions with center-left and center-right members of other parties in order to make this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's essentially it. And it's important people know that, I mean, like Pasta said, we might have expected a more radical approach, but it's understandable that they're doing this. And Honduras is going to run their country. Nobody here is trying to tell them how to run their country. So they know more than we do, and they'll figure it out. And we just hope for the best for the people of Honduras.
I think that's the best way to put it. They know better than us. It's their right to do what they got to do and what they think is best. Even though we might not approve, I think we like the more radical approach of understanding they did this to you. Look what they've done to their country. They backed the elections in 2017 that were obviously fraudulent. They removed you in 2009. But hey, man, you're going to run things your way, and we have to respect that. And I think that's the best way to put it, fam. All right, let's get to some Super Rays real quick. It says, Jesse Cordero Leon. How you doing, Jesse? fan of the show, always checks us out. Thank you so much. Fiorella, what do you think about the hula baloo? You may not be aware that in Hispanic media, they are trying to cancel a singer named Pablo Montera because he sang at Nicolas Maduro's 59th birthday last week, and all of the Hispanic entertainment media is up in arms all about it, and it is trying to cancel him, calling him a dictator, especially Venezuela celebrities like Alicia Machado. It is so gross. Did you know about that?
Yeah, no, but I know who everybody they mentioned is. Alicia Machado is an ex-Miss Universe from Venezuela who Trump exploited and made fun of because she gained weight, and they kept putting pictures of her on a treadmill. And, she's a gusano. I mean, she's, these upper class celebrities of Venezuela are going to have a certain take. Pretty much every media star, whether they're Mexican, Venezuelan, whatever they are from Latin America, has a very neoliberal view of what's going on in Venezuela. If all they see are the people fleeing Venezuela, that's what they're going to think. They don't know the geopolitical situation, the sanctions, all the things that are happening, which is why one of the next trips we're going to take is to Venezuela, because we look at things in a different way. So we can't wait to go, and I think it's awful to do this. And Cuba Libre. I'm just super excited to do this. I really love doing this, and I do. The cancel thing happens everywhere. Just like you see these media conglomerates. Univision is owned, I believe, by NBC Universal, so they have the same narrative.
Yeah.
So
it's so amazing when you get on the ground, especially talks about for the country Nicaragua. Oh my God, the people hate Daniel Ortega. He's eliminating his competition. There's no love for him. No, the people love him. They love him, and that's why he is in power over there, and they respect him because he's a strong leader. So don't believe what you hear on the mainstream media. They've always been lying to you. They get paid to lie. They are nothing but propagandists. We know this at this time, and we're going to go explore more. I'm all about it. Ronnie Graham, thank you for the Super Ray contribution. I would like to thank you for your great work. Thanks for staying the course. You are phenomenal. No, Ronnie, you are phenomenal, Ronnie. And thank you for helping us up. We do appreciate it. Every bit helps right now. Even the love you guys have showed on the GoFundMe was amazing. Thank you so much. You guys really made this possible, and that's what we love about doing this. It's that we are audience-powered, not powered by the gusanos in the mainstream media.
Exactly, fam.
Okay.
So, guys, Epstein trial has begun Monday. Ghislaine Maxwell, of course, is there, and they've been hiding her. We haven't heard very much from the media. It's only the right-wing media or the alternative media really reporting on this. Why? Because there's several people like Bill Clinton and some of these left-wing or liberal figures involved. Everybody's involved. All the big, powerful people are involved. So Justin, Epstein's pilot, named Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Prince Andrew, Kevin Spacey, and others at Ghislaine Maxwell's trial.
Nothing we didn't know right now. Nothing we didn't know. We talked about this for a long time. The funny thing is just seeing how both sides jump to defend their team. Mm-hmm. Oh no, Bill Clinton just did business with him. He's really not. Bill Clinton, it's kind of hard. There's people saying he's at the ranch visiting, at the island, whatnot. But Donald Trump, no. He just took a plane from Palm Beach to Newark and stuff. He never went to the island. He was still involved. You know what I'm saying? We don't know to what degree, ladies and gentlemen. So it's just crazy to see people playing team sports, fam.
And speaking of Steve,
yes.
He had a great tweet, because let's go ahead and read what the hell Twitter just put out. And literally, this is right after Jack Dorsey has stepped down from Twitter, and we're going to have a new czar ruling it. So they said, beginning today, we will not allow the sharing of private media, such as images or videos of private individuals without their consent. Publishing people's private info is also prohibited under the policy, as is threatening or incentivizing others to do so. So they did this whole article on it. And basically, just before I go over that, I just want to see, just kind of talk about how, they're saying they're hiding it, saying that this is going to help curb the use to harass, intimidate, blah blah blah, private individuals, but and minorities. But this is this is what it says. To be clear, we require a first-person report of the photo video in question or from an unauthorized representative. After we receive a report, that particular media will be reviewed before any enforcement action is taken down.
Reviewed by who?
Context matters. Our existing private information policy includes many exceptions in order to enable robust reporting or newsworthy events and conversations that are in public interest. So they're like, basically what this is going to do, guys, it's going to make it impossible, basically, to film, like, say, a cop or a politician or somebody, a corporate, you know, like shit lib, a corporate asshole that's doing something wrong, and like you could get your account taken down. So it's gonna hurt journalism. It's gonna censor independent media above all, because we're the ones that are actually reporting the truth. And it's really bad, and everybody has come out against it. I mean, all the journalists, of course, that are independent have come out against it.
Yeah, because look what it says right here, fam. It says, I don't know if did you just read this, where it says, for instance, we would take into consideration whether the image is publicly available and or is being covered by mainstream/traditional media.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, continue.
This is crazy. Or if a particular image in the accompanying tweet, text adds value to the public discourse, is being shared in public interest. But this part right here, we may allow the images. So basically, we'll only allow it if, for instance, the image is being covered by mainstream media or traditional media.
Right.
Yeah.
So guess what? They fucking don't cover the board. They're not here. They're not here in Honduras. We're here.
That's how I was able to get the room. I'm like, ABC's not here, no CNN.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we understand. So, I mean.
Right. So this is an attack on us. This is an attack on independent media, on independent journalists, on the truth tellers, the people that are actually telling the truth. This is a direct attack on us. And it's interesting, guys. I don't know. I'm going to go full conspiracy here. It's interesting how all this happens. Jack Dorsey steps down. A bunch of accounts get taken down. I was one of the accounts that was labeled as spam, which is bullshit. My account was obviously not spam. And so then now they come out with this, right? So, hey, I was safe for a minute there. But who knows how long I'll be safe from being taken down. I mean, with the work we do now, especially the people that go around, the reporting we did at the George Floyd protests, all of that. Now, what are we going to do? Like, this is insane. People should be outraged. Yeah. And so Steve said...
Can I do it?
Yes, please.
Former pilot for Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell testifies in a child rape trafficking trial, names Kevin Spacey, Donald Trump, Prince Andrew, Clinton, and others. Also breaking, Twitter is cracking down on you sharing images of those people with other pedophiles. The sharing part is what they're really going to go in. Yeah. Like, you won't be able to share anything. And that's what they even said. It's only like first party, taking of accounts, whatnot, like the person who took the picture, whatever. But then that person's information will get silenced if you can't share that information. It makes no sense. And I just want to say, fam, for the other platforms that are supposed to be coming out there, we've heard this talk, Panquake. Let's go. Get it together. Let's get it out there, because Twitter's not going to be able to be used very, very shortly. They're making it impossible to be about news. So if anybody's out there promoting any new platforms, let's go. Let's get it together. Let's get it out there. We need other avenues to communicate, because Twitter is about to hit the end of the road here with this stuff.
I mean, this is it. And fuck the people who say this is a private company. Twitter is not a private entity. It's a massive corporation that has merged and controlled so much. I mean, Facebook is Instagram and all this stuff. And like, they work in coalition with people in government. That is fascistic. That is why it's fascistic. The Convo Couch does not work with politicians and say, hey, you need to take this account down and that account down. Twitter does. And that's the difference between a private entity and a fucking conglomerate that has political power. So don't give me the bullshit, it's a private company thing, because it's not. So, okay. So that the reason that was related to the Maxwell trial was because of that. Because now we have to be careful of the images we share. And I think it's important to point that out as this big trial is happening. So here's the pilot's testimony from the unredacted Epstein documents from Virginia Giuffre and Ghislaine Maxwell. And in case you haven't read it, I mean, I'm pretty sure we went over this before, but there's a few documents. The one I wanted to read, I think, was at the last part. There it is. I think it was the fourth fourth one. Let me see. Not like showing up for me.
Let me.
So the fourth one.
Page 154?
Yeah, I think so. It says, what did you know about that trip? We knew that was going to be a long trip because we were going to go around the world. So when we departed, it was about a week later, as I recall, that we picked up Clinton. We left JFK on the 11th, a little less than a week. Half a week later, we picked up Clinton. And from there, we went to Hong Kong. And then the question was like, so you fly into on the 20th, flight 99, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Sarah Kellen, right? And you fly into a naval base in Japan, correct? And the question was, how are you giving access to stay in the naval air base? And they objected, and they said, the airplane you mean by Mr. Edwards? Yes, it looks like it is there 2 days. So they mentioned, this is from the Clinton, and then he says, I guess because we were picking up President Clinton. So, I mean, Clinton's name is extremely involved in this, and I just wanted to read an excerpt from the direct thing. And The Guardian even reported on this, that Ghislaine Maxwell was number 2 in Jeffrey's Epstein hierarchy, according to the pilot. And they also talked about how the names, right, of Clinton, Andrew, and Donald Trump. And they talked about the pilot who worked from 1991 to 2019. And just pretty much everything that we've talked about before. And there was the article, Pasta,
Yeah, this one right here. Oh, that's from Inner City Press. Oh, yeah, but let me talk about the article we read. And just to reiterate, this is nothing we really didn't already know.
Yeah. It was just admitted, though.
It just is. So
why it's significant.
But from Zero Hedge, the article I pulled up there, Trump and Epstein were known to have associated with each other in the 1990s in New York City's Playboys as successful entrepreneurs. The Daily Mail reports. That's the thing we quoted a long time ago. It was previously reported that Trump had flown on Epstein's plane from Palm Beach, where they both had homes, to Newark in 1997. Epstein is also said to have flown on one of Trump's private planes. Trump is said to have severed ties relationship with Epstein and banned him from Mar-a-Lago after the pedophile reportedly trying to recruit a towel attendant in the early 2000s. Yeah, fam, that's what you're going to go after, the towel attendants, prior to his conviction for soliciting children prostitutes. So that was nothing that we didn't know as well. That's what a lot of Trump people would say, like, oh, he never went to the island. No, he never went to the island. They flew back and forth on each other's planes. We have to find out more information. And another part of the whole situation, too, I want to point out is that the pilot can only confirm who was on the plane. He hasn't been able to confirm any behavior. Right? So that's very important. So all he's going to do is put people in places. He's the person who flown them, but he's not going to confirm any behavior. So when asked if he remembers Virginia Roberts, Vasowski said, yes, a shorter woman with dirty blonde hair. She didn't look young. I mean, whatever you decipher is the definition of young, but she was a woman in my category, he added. Maxwell had entered a Manhattan courtroom Tuesday morning wearing a cream sweater, black slacks, and looked on as Volosky was questioned. Vasowski, that's how you say it, was questioned. He said Maxwell was the number 2 and that Epstein was the big number 1 when asked about their relationship. And I just want to go to this tweet right now from Interpress because Interpress has a little bit more information on it. And Johnny, I want to go to the tweet. Sorry. I didn't put the right tweet in there as well.
And I just want to say why he's looking for that tweet. The pilot kept saying, I don't know if those girls were underage. I don't know. They didn't look underage. To be honest, they looked like they were over 20 years old. So on trying to say that he was trafficking underage girls, the pilot isn't corroborating that. He's simply saying that he wasn't sure, that nobody was carded, but that the girls looked older than 20. So that is also important to point out because in that case, and it's not gonna do anything. Like, because if you're talking about underage girls, that doesn't, it puts the president there, it puts Trump, and it puts a bunch of other people there, but it doesn't put the age of these women being underage. So I believe these people are going to pay the price? Then no.
It doesn't implicate him, but like we know if the girls come out and say no, I was, and then he confirms that they were there, then they could say no, I was this age and they were there. So, but it doesn't implicate him. It will implicate everybody else, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. In other words, the pilot can't point out any signs of bad behavior and stuff. It says, they asked, you saw nothing in 30 years that made you think Mr. Epstein was an abuser, right? He goes, I did not. Nothing further. Redirect. And he said, did you let your 14-year-old daughter massage Epstein? No, because Epstein supposedly let the pilot's daughter ride on horses and stuff. But it said plain and simple that he did not see anything. Nothing that would indicate that Epstein was a pedophile. Only he just flew him around here and there. So the pilot is only going to put people in places. And that's this part of the whole trial where both sides are going to play team sports. Trump was on the plane, we told you, blah, blah, blah. Clinton was on the plane, we told you, blah, blah, blah. But right now, the pilot can't do nothing but say, yes, I flew them. That's all I know. We have to stay tuned for more information on the trial.
Exactly.
So that's where we're at over here. The chance for them to play team sports.
Exactly, fam. Okay, so do we have any super rays?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to them. The internet's acting a little slow ski right now. Really quick. Do I? By the way, go ahead if you have it, play it up. Damn, did you put that in there?
Ghislaine Maxwell wants to complain to the United Nations.
Nope.
It sounded pretty cool, though.
Deep state.
Yes. AREM, for your work, for your travels, for your health and well-being. Thank you so much. Thank you, AREM.
Thank you,
You've been
AREM.
awesome this whole time.
We love you.
We do love you for
Love all
hooking
of
us
you.
up and hanging on out. So, fam.
So, fam, we're going to start this on YouTube. You want to watch the whole thing, our whole rants, got to go to Rokfin only. But we're going to start talking about this on YouTube because it is confirmed. The Omicron virus strain has arrived. And somehow, they're trying to act like this is new. Well, we have pictures from the World Economic Forum outlining this, like a timeline. So we're going to show you that this was outlined before. It's interesting. Now there are reports that African countries didn't foresee this, that this came before, that it was found in the Netherlands a long time ago. So, we're going to be deciphering a couple things. And first of all, since we're on YouTube, we're going to talk about the headlines, the breaking news. The White House, a few days ago, restricted travel. I mean, we got a lot of notices because we're traveling, right? And they restrict travel from 8 countries, citing the risk of the new variant. South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Namibia, I can't say it. Lesotho, Eswatini, Mozambique, and Malawi.
Eswatini, Mozambique, Malawi.
Fam,
I will say the African names on the show there because obviously you take care of the Latin stuff. That was from Dan Diamond. You take care of the Latin stuff. I will take care.
So, soon as that happened, guys, the New York governor, our great Lord Savior.
Oh, I love this one. Did she call on Jesus?
No, she did declare a state of emergency to prepare for the new variant, though, guys. I mean, this is the state of emergency already in New York. It's not anywhere near New York. What are you doing?
You got to get ready for it, fam.
I can't with this one.
This is never going to end. This is never going to end. They never intended this for this to end.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my bad.
Pasta. CDC says the vaccine is safe and effective. And the New York governor declared a state of emergency to prepare for this virus. She said on Friday that this is one of the first steps that they need to take. And Anthony Fauci said in an interview with CNN that there have been no Omicron cases detected in the U.S., but he acknowledged that it doesn't hurt to rule out the possibility that the variant could be in the country. She said, we continue to see warning signs of spikes in COVID this winter, and while the new Omicron variant has yet to be detected in the New York State, it's coming. So it's coming. So she knows it's coming. I mean, I want to reiterate that they have detected no cases in the United States. And now they're urging, of course, people to take the booster shot as well as everything else. And it's also been found in Israel and Hong Kong. We've been busy covering, obviously, the elections. But according to the reports of the Omicron virus, it has 15 differences in the spike protein. So they're saying it's, transmitted a lot faster and all of these things. So Joe Biden made an announcement. So let's hear what Uncle Joe said.
The very day the World Health Organization identified the new variant, I took immediate steps to restrict travel from countries in southern Africa. But while we have that travel restrictions can slow the speed of Omicron, it cannot prevent it. But here's what it does. It gives us time. It gives us time to take more actions, to move quicker, to make sure people understand you have to get your vaccine. You have to get the shot. You have to get the booster. If you're sooner or later, we're going to see cases of this new variant here in the United States. We'll have to face this new threat just as we face those that come before it.
Okay, so Joe Biden said we have to take the vaccines. You have to get the booster. So now, initially we started one dose, then it was 2, then it was even if you got the Johnson & Johnson, you needed the second dose. And now, of course, as we said, just take the booster. So just one more booster from Steve Poikonen, right? Just one more booster meme. And maybe we should show that after. I don't know. But the Biden mandates, the push by the Biden administration, push for these mandates has failed. And it's failed pretty drastically. I'm going to read a little article, and then we're going to show the court documents. We kind of began covering this before, but it is official. The federal judge blocked the vaccine rule for health workers in New Hampshire and 9 other states. And this was on Monday. They blocked Joe Biden's administration from enforcing a coronavirus vaccine mandate on thousands of care workers in 10 states, including New Hampshire, that brought the first legal challenge against the requirement. The court order said that the Federal Centers for Medicare and Medicaid has no clear authority from Congress to enact the vaccine mandate for providers participating in the 2 government healthcare program for the elderly, disabled, and poor. This is from the St. Louis-based U.S. District Judge Matthew Schelp, and applies to a coalition of suing states that includes Alaska, Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, New Hampshire, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. There are other lawsuits pending in other states. And so the federal rule, to remind everybody, of COVID-19 vaccinations for more than 17 million workers nationwide is about 76,000 healthcare facilities and home healthcare providers that get funding from the government health programs. So they were to receive their first dose by December 6th and their second shot by January 4th. And the New Hampshire Governor, Chris Sununu, interesting. This is a big win for New Hampshire's healthcare system, said the New Hampshire governor. Nursing homes were at risk of closure if the Biden mandate remained in place. This helps maintain the staff New Hampshire needs to care for our loved ones. So this is also a setback after a similar setback to a broader policy. And they previously had placed a hold on a separate rule requiring businesses with more than 100 employees to ensure their workers get vaccinated or else were masking it tested weekly for the coronavirus. So so this is 2 down for Biden, right? This is 2 losses for the Biden administration. People are pushing back. It's good to see people push back against mandates that are, of course, creating people who are unemployed, creating in a very unstable economy already. So
yeah, but the CDC says the vaccines are safe and effective, fam.
But the CDC, according to the CDC, the vaccines are safe and effective. And so I just wanted to show this, the United States District Court, Eastern District of Missouri, Eastern Division. You guys can see the documents. We're not going to read it, but you guys can see exactly pretty much what I just read. If you want to go to that, it's cdn.locals.com, I believe, where we're at, and you guys can see the whole thing and read it. And they pretty much, I mean, it's just beyond their jurisdiction. There's no constitutional right for that to happen. And so this whole Africa thing, right? I think Niko put out a tweet the other day saying how Africa was not wanting to take in these vaccines, right? They were like, we don't need these vaccines. And all of a sudden this happens, right? And he was saying, like, is there a connection to that? We don't know. We're not saying if there is, if there isn't. But what we are going to say is, if Trump were Biden right now, if Trump were president and he said, I don't want anybody from Africa coming in, what would the reaction of liberals be, right? I mean, what would be that reaction? I think they would call him a racist. And, you know, you can argue about Trump's racism and all that, but this is from Professor Zenkis. When Donald Trump banned travel from Africa, he was called a racist. When Joe Biden does it, he's listening to the science. Liberals never cared about racism. They only cared about power. And that's important to point out. I mean, above the COVID narrative, there's also this manipulation of the biases, the culture war, you know, like the Republicans versus the Democrats. And in this instance, the hypocrisy of the Democrats is showing. And they're really, really shooting themselves in the foot right now with the upcoming elections, because they're definitely not going to win anything.
They're influx facilities.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Remember that? This is when Donald Trump does it, it's kids in cages. When Joe Biden does it, it's influx facilities.
Yes.
Once again, now Biden's listening to the science. Donald Trump was a racist. And that's the thing that's disgusting about the Democrats and the left in America. They play fucking team sports to the fullest extent. I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to get going yet, fam.
No, absolutely. And so I wanted to read Kim's tweet on this, because if you look at the actual article at the very bottom, it literally says there are no cases there. But the media will highlight, like, oh my God, Omicron, it's dangerous, and blah, 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 blah. And at the very bottom, they'll put, there are no cases reported. So she says, despite some misreporting, there have been no hospitalizations with the new variant at this point. Some are claiming only unvaccinated are being hospitalized. And this is inaccurate reporting. No one so far has been, and let's hope it stays that way. Guys, nobody has been hospitalized for this virus. Nobody. So, but if you read the media headlines, you would think that this thing is going around and murdering everybody. And that's something we have to call out. Like, what is misinformation, right? Let's be fair about what that represents. And we'll save our rant for later. But I did want to point out her tweets, because it's important, because in that whole article, it talks about how dangerous the virus is. And at the very end, it's just like, nobody has been hospitalized. There's no cases here. So, and then
I would wait for this one. I don't think we would read this one.
Okay. Well, if you want to save it,
yeah, because this tweet might cause a little. Once again, you know, you can get in trouble for telling the truth, fam. Especially, it's what part of the truth you're telling, whatnot. You know, so should we switch over to Rokfin only, or
no?
We'll just wait until after.
Yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah.
Yeah, the language alone, that, you know, when you use the boop boop.
I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna show you guys this. I'm just gonna say the next part that we're gonna talk about. The WHO on November 2021 said that the first known confirmed B11529 infection was from a specimen collected on the 9th of November 2021. The World Economic Forum on July 2021, it says scientists in South Africa have discovered a small number of cases of a new COVID variant named B11529. So, again, this is not new. So we have proof, and we're going to talk about that on Rokfin only. So guys, get over to the Rokfin just to be safe. I know other people have talked about it on YouTube, but you know, we are out here covering things. We don't want to run the risk, guys. We talked about the Great Reset. We talked about Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, the WHO, and all of these people who are involved, Bill Gates being one of them. This isn't conspiratorial. This is true. You can find videos on the things they were talking about. They were talking about a pandemic before it happened. And so where does that leave you? We can only speculate, but you are not allowed to speculate on YouTube. You're allowed to even mention anything against the narrative because the vaccines are safe and effective, ladies and gentlemen, and you should go get your booster right now.
Says Joe Biden.
So according to the CDC and the WHO. So once we're on Rokfin only, let us know, and we will get to talking. And and just to we'll start with Kim's tweet, but she was talking about how the full notion of everybody has admitted at this point, right? The vaccines stop the spread for a little bit, according to the CDC, but then they admitted it wanes over time, right? So, bye YouTube, bye Facebook, bye whatever we're on.